right, well, we'll begin. Welcome to today's webinar, Unveiling AAII Retirement Investing, featuring Cynthia McLaughlin and Charles Rotblut. My name is Jenna Brashear, and I'll be your host for today. A few things to go over before we begin. I want to remind all of our webinar viewers that AAII is a nonprofit educational group and is not a financial advisor, and thus is not able to give personal advice. Every investor is different. That's why our goal with each broadcast and article is to educate you on how to make better financial decisions. And a handout of the presentation is available under the handout section of your GoToWebinar control panel. And the handout section is located on the right-hand side of the screen. Additionally, a copy of the slides used during today's presentation will be sent to all who attended today's event. And if you have any questions for our speaker during the presentation, please submit them using the question section of your GoToWebinar control panel. Once our presentation concludes, Charles will select a few questions for Cindy to answer. And questions that are not selected for the broadcast will be reviewed and addressed afterwards. Or you can also send your questions to retirement@aaii.com. And if you experience any issues with the audio or the video of the webinar, please consult the instructions on how to change your device's settings, or you can consult the GoToWebinar website for support at gotowebinar.com. And just a friendly reminder that this presentation is recorded and a replay of the webinar will be available tomorrow on AAII's YouTube channel, as well as on aaii.com/webinars. And we'll include all the links to this presentation's handouts, as well as any resources that we discussed today. And the PDF will also be available on the aaii.com/webinars page as well. And for new viewers, we like to give a little background about our organization. The American Association of Individual Investors is an independent nonprofit corporation formed in 1978 for the purpose of assisting individuals in becoming effective managers of their own assets through programs of education, information, and research. And with that, I'd like to hand over the presentation to Charles.
Thanks, Jenna. Thanks everyone for attending today. I'm here with Cindy, and we're going to talk about our brand new retirement investing newsletter. Cindy's going to go into a lot more detail about it, but I just want to just address something that's been brought up from a few members. So we're going to continue to cover retirement-related content in the AAII Journal. What retirement investing does is give us the ability to actually have a forum to do a much deeper dive. That deeper dive includes people who are saving for retirement, people who are transitioning, and people who are living in retirement. So you'll see a lot more detailed content, probably a more holistic view of retirement. Whereas a journal, we'll still continue our broad-based look at investing, not only obviously retirement, but stock and fund selection, portfolio allocation, behavioral finance, financial planning. So again, more broad-based with the AAII Journal, whereas retirement investing really allows us to take a deep and concentrated look at retirement. And Cindy, since I know you are a Cornhusker fan and from Omaha, I do want to point out that one member wrote in that it is sunny and 66 degrees today in Omaha.
So, amazing.
Here in Chicago, I think we might be having our last day of shorts weather, possibly for the rest of 2023.
Yeah.
But you know, obviously, I'm sure you'd be happy to talk about Nebraska football for quite some time. But I think everyone is here to hear you talk about our new retirement investing newsletter. So I will turn it over to you, Cindy.
Oh, thank you, Charles. Welcome, everyone. I'm so happy that you're able to join today. My name is Cindy McLaughlin, and I've been with AAII for about 6 months now, a little over 6 months. Before that, I worked for a company in Indianapolis that provided retirement plans to plan sponsors. So I was working with these plan sponsors to help their employees save for retirement, creating a lot of content and campaigns that really enunciated the reasons to save for retirement and just helping folks get more comfortable with their plan options and their investment options, and kind of nudging along financial literacy, which is just so important and something that all of us deserve. Prior to that, I worked for 9 years at Invesco, an ETF issuer. So I was working on financial education and projects with for retail investors and advisors and thought leadership. So I'm really excited about everything that we're doing here at AAII and about retirement investing. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to give you a little more information about the product, and then we're going to do a web demo. So what is AAII Retirement Investing? As Charles alluded to, it's a specialized online resource, and it's designed to serve investors at all phases in your retirement journey. And he talked a little bit about the life phases, and what we've done is we've broken those down into 3 key life phases, where you're accumulating for retirement, you're transitioning or preparing, and then you're living in retirement. And what this means, it doesn't mean that you're strictly in any one of these spaces at any time, or that in each one of these spaces there aren't multiple sub phases, but this was just a way for us to really curate content and make it really accessible for you as subscribers or potential subscribers. And I am in the accumulation phase, although I'm starting to really look at the transitioning phase and what I'm going to need to do over the next maybe 5 to 10 years to push myself into retirement. So we've, as Charles mentioned, we're putting all of this information in one place. It's reliable, it's actionable, it's targeted and objective. It's going to complement our well-respected AAII journal and our other tools and products. And we're also offering, and I will show you, an opportunity to participate in a survey each month. With AAII, we have the long tradition of having the weekly sentiment survey and the monthly asset allocation survey. So it really seemed like a natural fit that we would want to have a survey on retirement topics to get your thoughts. And this will also allow us to curate content and figure out what we need to do to give you what you need to make better decisions. And you're probably wondering, okay, why is this different? How is it different? A lot of members have mentioned, well, I get good information from other sources like Kiplinger's or the Wall Street Journal. And yes, those all have really excellent content, but they do not offer the complementary tools that we have, such as model portfolios, asset allocation models, the PRISM wealth building process, A+ investor tools, screeners, and the online community where you can all get together and share ideas. And I know that's something near and dear to Jenna's heart as well. So what we're trying to do with this new subscription or service is solve your pain points by providing this information in a more targeted, condensed manner. And as a not-for-profit, we have an established history of providing this quality content and access to experts that are focused on solving these problems and going deeper. We're good at tackling these large and complicated problems and then breaking them down so that as individual investors, we can all benefit, but at the same time, we're not really losing the meaning of what we're trying to accomplish. So we're leaning on our 40+ years of history and track record here at AAII. So I'm kind of drilling into the individual components of what this offers. It's a standalone subscription. And the content is on the website. We have a monthly newsletter. We have a weekly insight summary, and we have the monthly survey that I mentioned, the curated content, actionable insights, and with the weekly insights, we're also going to be providing breaking retirement industry news. So if something comes out from the IRS, yep, we've got it, and we've already figured out how to present it and what it may mean to you as an investor. And we are going to have additional retirement resources. Our profitable retirement guidebook is going to be updated and available soon. And I mentioned this complements existing newsletters and content services. And it is also included with the AAII Platinum subscription. So that is a little more of a deep dive on what you're going to get. And so the timing, you're probably wondering, okay, I'm already a subscriber. I get some emails. When is this going to come to my inbox? What is going to happen? We're pushing the weekly insights and the monthly newsletter out on Tuesdays. The weekly insights will come on every Tuesday. And then the second Tuesday of the month, we are going to have that monthly newsletter. So if you are a retirement investing subscriber already, you should have received an email yesterday, and look forward to the monthly newsletter coming next Tuesday, October 10th. And archives are also available as we get those built out. So wanted to mention that. And a little taste on the current content. We have an in-depth feature article on the bucket approach. The monthly version will have an in-depth feature article and 4 related articles. And then the weekly edition is going to have a shorter article, the news, and an opportunity to take the survey. So currently we have the bucket article. We have an article for those who are contributing to their 401k plans or 403b plans, whatever type of plan that may be, about, you know, how do you keep that on track? And, you know, when is a good time to check your statement, or just kind of let it ride and not give in to this FOMO obsessiveness that we seem to all be succumbing to with social media. We also have an article on allocating for your retirement goals. So if you're in retirement and you have, you know, a big life goal, well, we have some tips and ideas to help you make sure that that happens. And another article is planning on covering expenses first. So looking at how do you allocate your assets, or how do you, you know, think about planning your withdrawals. Well, let's look at expenses first, and that's one approach. A lot of these approaches are a little different, and some of them are contradictory. So one thing we'll be doing is bringing it all together and breaking everything down so you can look at things and determine what works best for you, walk away and take action. So finally, we have a summary update in our weekly Platinum Digest. If you are a Platinum member, you get the weekly Platinum Digest. It has content for all of our model portfolios, and it will now have content for the retirement investing service as well. So Platinum members might have received an email on Friday that already had a little introduction about this new service. Okay, so I mentioned that we've mentioned multiple times that the content is curated by the life phases, and we put a lot of thought into this. We had this in the last webinar back in September, on September 21st, and I just wanted to touch on it again, that we have, the saving for retirement, preparing, and living in retirement. So the content may appeal to people in multiple phases or just one phase. It may appeal to everyone some months. It's just a way to make things a little more accessible and appealing for everyone. Okay, so I have slides for the website demo, and I want to kind of keep these for you to be able to refer to later in the copy of the presentation, the handout. But what I'm going to do now is go to the website and give you a demo. Okay, so real quick, Charles and Jenna as my co-pilots, can you see my screen?
Yes, I can see the AAI.com website.
Okay, so there are several ways to get into the retirement investing area of the website. And if you're already logged into AAII, you would go to My Tools and access it this way. Just, it's going to be in your pull down menu with all of the other things that you would normally see. And if you are not logged in and you just want to come here and not go to the other products, the rest of the AAII website, you would just type retirement.aai.com, and then you would be prompted to log in. Okay, so I am now logged in, and this is the home page. So on the home page, we have right now the featured weekly article, and we have articles for the monthly content. We've also put off to the side popular topics. We know everyone's interested in asset allocation. A lot of people are interested in bonds, saving strategies. So those are our popular topics, and this may change these topics up here depending, but you'll always see popular topics in this area. And we have the life phases, the accumulation, transitioning, and retired. So if you want to see content just related to those areas, you can click on one of those phases. I will show you that in a second. And then down here, we have also put this content in tagged by life phases, and it is, and then popular topics are down here, and it's also tagged by different topical things that may be of interest to you. And then this is the monthly feature article that I mentioned. So also on the home page, you're going to see information about our Retirement Pulse survey. So if you wanted to take the survey, you could navigate and go and take it. So that is the home page. And then I will go to weekly insights and show you what that looks like. So we have our weekly insight article, and we have weekly archives. Right now, we just have that one article that will be built out. And then you would access additional weekly archive articles just by simply clicking on the full archive. And then news will be added. That is something we're working on getting built out. More to come. Going to the monthly newsletter, I mentioned the feature article. So this will always be front and center at the top. Again, it is tagged with monthly feature, retired in terms of the phase, and it's focused on asset allocation. So it has that asset allocation tag. And there are 4 additional articles that are included in the monthly. So these are also depicted. And I just wanted to mention that with each month, we're trying to have an overarching theme. For example, October, it is financial independence. So all of the articles for not only the monthly that for the page we're on right now, but also the weekly articles that you're going to receive, those will be focused on a theme of financial independence. And then for November, we are going to focus on legacy, just kind of keying in with Thanksgiving and the start of the holiday season. A lot of people will be gathering. So, maybe those legacy questions or conversations would come up, and we're going to have content not only on things to do as, you kind of pass on and transition your assets, but what to do if you are receiving them. So we're trying to really focus the content on a broader range of investors and subscribers. And then the Retirement Pulse survey. So each month we are going to have a question, and this month's survey is what is your biggest financial concern about living in retirement? We know the bulk of our subscribers are already living in retirement, and we really want to hear from you to understand what your biggest financial concern is. And like I said, we will look into focusing some content on the results of these surveys. We'll use those results to really develop some content to further help you. And going back to the monthly email and newsletter, the monthly newsletter email will contain also results starting in I think December. We're going to let the first survey run until like the end of November just to capture all of the responses. But then we will come out with a summary of the survey, and I will add some commentary about it. So just wanted to let you know that it will also be like the asset allocation and sentiment survey, where you can look and see what happened and read a little more about it. And we have, just as with our other services and subscriptions, model portfolios, we have the how-to, the getting started, FAQs, a glossary, the team, and then contact. If you should want to contact member services, or I think, trying to remember nope, I don't think my contact information is in there, but it's at the end of this presentation, and I will share that. You're always welcome to reach out to me. Okay, so that is what I wanted to show you for the website. And if you want to get to other places in AAII.com, you would just click on more services and navigate back, or you could go to my tools and navigate back. And if you are a platinum subscriber, going into AAII Platinum. We have the retirement insights included, and this is the weekly insight. So this is what we have so far, and we also have under videos our September 21st Retirement Reimagined. If you missed it and you want to watch it, or if there was something you just wanted to take a look at again, it's included with the videos and all of the other great videos that we have out here from prior webinars and information sessions. Okay, so back to the presentation. Jenna and Charles, can you see my screen?
Yes, I can. Thanks, Cindy.
Okay, thank you. I think that's my worst fear is the fact that, I might not be able to share my screen when I'm presenting. So I talked a little bit about accessing the content by life phases and topics. Just wanted to cover that when you click on popular topics or life phases, these are some of the things that you're going to see. You're going to see what's related to that area. Retirement Pulse, how to. Okay, so getting into the good stuff. Well, how can this help me? And you're wondering, how can this help me with where I am in my retirement journey? So we have the information, the helpful information for your current phase. And like I said, we recognize there are multiple steps in each phase. For those living in retirement, it's going to really help arm you with actionable strategies to make better decisions. And we're going to try to ease the transition between the phases. I think it's, especially moving from transitioning into retirement and then living in retirement, that's probably the most difficult phase that I think anyone can imagine. And we talked about how this really complements our other products. So I just wanted to kind of find out from you, what are you looking most forward to with the retirement investing? So Jenna, can we do a poll?
Yes, let me grab that right now. And I will launch it. So feel free to vote and choose any that apply. You can select more than one, but the options are curated content and tools in one place, email subscription, news updates, and using retirement investing with other AAII services. So we'll take a few minutes to let everybody vote, and then once enough has voted, then I will close, and then we'll be able to see the results.
Cindy, do you have a minute to take some questions while we're allowing all our members to participate in the survey?
Of course.
Okay, I'll go through. Sure, I'll go through a few of those, and we'll try to get more at the end of Cindy's presentation. John asked, when does the transition phase begin? How many years before retirement should you begin preparing?
Oh, that is a great question. I don't think there's any definite answer for that, but I really think that within the last 5 to 10 years before retirement, you really need to be focused on your asset allocation, and also, especially if you're thinking about building up a cash cushion or a series of cash-like assets that you want to access to avoid spending down your core accounts or your core savings. It just kind of depends, but that is a great question.
And I'll just
thank you.
Sure, I'll just add to that. There's really two dates when you think about retirement. A, it's your target date, and then B, it's the date you actually retire. And as those of you who are retired know, they can be different. Health issues, job issues, lifestyle changes, life stage changes can all affect it. So you definitely want to think about perhaps preparing for retirement before you're planning on it, just in case you do end up retiring sooner than planned. But there isn't a set limit. Our founder, Jim Clunan, did suggest building up your bucket of safe assets 4 years beforehand. But certainly, as you start approaching that decade before retirement, you do need to start planning perhaps for the unexpected or for change in plans. Cindy, another question we got, and this is actually from several members. Cynthia watching happened to ask this. Is retirement investing strictly digital, or can a print version be received?
Or can a what be received? Can you please repeat that?
A print version of it.
Oh, great question. This is strictly digital, and we made that decision because it will give us the opportunity, or make it a little easier and nimbler to get the content out more quickly and adjust rapidly to anything that we see that you may need. So thank you. That's a great question.
Sure, absolutely.
We know that a journal is print, so a lot of you are used to receiving the journal each month in print form.
And I know we have a lot of other questions. We'll get to many of them at the end. And I want to, give you time, Cindy, to finish up the survey. But I do want to point out that Mark wanted to tell you, go Big Red.
Oh, yes. Oh, that's so great to have a Nebraska. Oh.
And I wanted to show the poll results. So actually 76% of attendees voted. So thank you so much for participating in our poll today. And it looks like we've got about 42% who voted on curated content, 61% who voted for content and tools all in one place, 14% said email subscription, 37% said news updates, and 46% said using retirement investing with other AAII services. Great.
Oh, great.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. That's wonderful. Okay. I want to spend a little bit of time just hitting on the specific content for each of these phases. So the living in retirement, that's obviously our probably core phase, if you will. And we currently have the monthly feature article about how to set up a bucket portfolio for meeting different income needs. We have the article about creating a payday with bond cash flows. And what I like about this strategy is it doesn't require monitoring and worrying about every market move. So it kind of takes some of that stress away. And I think it's something that you'll enjoy reading. We have the article I mentioned about allocating for life goals in retirement, whether you're thinking about a Corvette or maybe a special trip with one of your special family members. This will help you figure out how to get to that goal. And it's a saving strategy. And that is what we have in the October monthly newsletter. And then the people preparing for retirement, people like me who are starting to think about transitioning into retirement. We have an article about developing the right mindset to navigate, all the difficult questions you want to ask yourself. I think it's real easy to almost be in denial about what it takes to save for retirement and to get to retirement. And this is a good article about kind of developing that right mindset and also focusing on what are your liabilities versus usually, as the conversation starts out with, well, what are the assets? How much income am I going to have? What are my account balances? So this is a little different approach. And also the article I mentioned for those who are living in retirement about the payday with bond cash flows, I think that's a really good thing for those who are, getting ready to transition into retirement. I think that's a really good thing for this group to look at as well. And the saving for retirement, we have the article about monitoring your 401k plan and just, like how much attention should you give to this account all the time? Is it something where, you should check it every day, or should you just kind of set it and let it go? So that is what we have for October. I mentioned that October is focused on financial independence. November, we're going to focus on estate planning, wealth transfer. For those of you who are members, you will know that with December, we have a tradition of offering tax-themed content, very extensive and very, very well-renowned. So we will be focusing on that for retirement investing as well. Upcoming topics, we are going to look at asset location versus asset allocation. And we know that everybody loves content on withdrawal strategies. So that is going to be one of our focuses. And the profitable retirement planning guide will be available soon. So we look forward to getting that out onto the website, and I will announce that in an upcoming email. And we're looking at creating and pushing out additional guides. If you have any ideas, more than happy to hear them and to learn about them. So questions, that is my contact information. Charles' contact information is included as well, and we have a slide on some helpful resources. And Jenna, did you have a few words about the subscription opportunities?
Yes, thank you so much. I just wanted to mention, since we did get some of the feedback in our question section asking about pricing. So AAII Retirement Investing has officially launched, and we are excited for investors to have a robust resource for their retirement planning at different stages of their life. And the pricing for this curated newsletter is set at $49 per year, or you can do the $99 for a 3-year subscription. And then we also wanted to make sure that, I know Cindy already mentioned this, but all platinum subscribers have access to AAII Retirement Investing via their dashboard and can access for today onwards. And please visit. There's also, I included a link at the bottom, as you can see in the screen. If you haven't subscribed and you're interested, go ahead and click on that link, and then you can see the different subscription options that are available. And I will also, this link is also included in the PDF, so you'll have access to that after the presentation. And then I will throw it into the chat just in case you want to take a look for yourself at this point. So thank you so much.
Yeah.
It's indeed, we've got some questions if you have time to answer them.
Okay, love
Sure.
to.
Great. One question was from David, how does one match some of the AAII portfolios with the different phases, accumulation, transition, and being retirement?
I think that's a very good question. And I would say that dividend investing, that is potentially a portfolio that people who are interested more in the income, they might want to look at that for maybe that transitioning phase or for living in retirement. So kind of moving your portfolio from more, like stock, just growth type stocks over to stocks that are actually generating a cash flow that can help you. The growth portfolio, that might be something a little more of interest to those who are accumulating. And I think the same maybe with the shadow portfolio. That's a portfolio that has been associated with higher returns over time.
Yeah, and absolutely. And obviously the correct portfolio depends on your personal situation and obviously how dependent you are on your portfolio for the withdrawals. We got a few questions asking about tax strategies and whether or not the issues of taxes, particularly once in retirement, will be covered.
One area I would really like to focus on is the RMDs and what you need to know about taxes for RMDs, and also what you need to do if you are converting and like a regular or traditional IRA over to a Roth IRA, different strategies for taking out distributions from all of these different types of accounts, and strategies for Social Security, like how does Social Security play into the mix of, taxable assets and all of these different scenarios. So that's
Great.
kind of a broad swoop. Charles, if you have anything to add to that, since you're kind of the tax chief with the December issue of the journal.
Yes, I am the one who edits the tax stuff. So we will be covering tax stuff on it. Actually, just yesterday, Cindy and I were looking at the IRS Drop website. And yes, that's exactly the name, IRS Drop, where they actually announce all the tax changes. We were looking for the inflation adjustments for 401ks, IRAs, trying to see how they're going to adjust those numbers. And so as those come out, we're going to cover those and retirement investing as well in a new section, so you all are aware of what the numbers will be for next year, both Social Security, IRA contributions, but then obviously for many of you, it's also the tax brackets. So we will be sharing those as well in it. But obviously we do realize for many of you, both working years and retirement years, trying to manage taxes is a big issue, and obviously a big concern for many of you. Staying on that topic, someone asked related to that about, are we going to cover in terms of HSAs and trying to coordinate HSAs into the saving and obviously retirement mix? Health savings accounts, I should say, for those people not familiar with the term HSA.
That's a good one. I had an HSA, and I would say that the tax reporting laws on that are as clear as mud. So that might be a good opportunity, but I think we would probably try to engage an outside expert to provide content on that.
Yeah, a couple other questions regarding content. Tim wanted to know if we'll be covering any aspect of investment fraud as it applies to the elderly.
That is a good topic. And I think we would also look to getting an expert to help us with that. But I see that as something really critical that we need to think about.
Yeah, and absolutely, it is a big concern for not only for the elderly, but for those of you who have older parents. I certainly have a mother-in-law who's in her 80s, and unfortunately, she's not. Sorry, the mother-in-law is actually 91 with Alzheimer's, and unfortunately, she's pretty good about not answering the phone. So it's actually to her benefit that she doesn't. But certainly, we are aware. That is an ongoing issue, and we are aware there's scamsters looking to particularly get people who perhaps have cognitive issues and are living by themselves. So we're well aware of it. And as Cindy said, I think we'll reach out to some outside experts for the best way to not only protect yourself, but obviously if you have a relative or a loved one who might be might be in that demographic group where they could perhaps be potential victims, to protect them as well. So one of the questions I actually had on there was just someone asked, how do you plan to address the unique challenges associated with the third phase, which is living in retirement? And Mike had just pointed out that it looks a lot different once you're actually doing it.
I imagine. I appreciate that. And I think we would like to have content maybe focused on the different stages of that. I've heard people ask for content on, well, I'm retired and I'm active, but what happens, as I move along through these different phases? And I think that's a great idea to try to build out content and focus on the different phases of retirement, because yes, I imagine it really does look a lot different once you get there. And it's not like you just, as Charles mentioned, you might have a date you're striving to hit, but that date may change, or maybe you don't have, like a definite cutoff. Like one day, you're at your desk really busy, and then the next day, you're sitting at home like, what in the world am I going to do? So I think that we will have content around issues like that, and also kind of some lifestyle content, or maybe some content about how do you have conversations with your loved ones to make sure that you're on the same page about what you want to do in retirement, or what your financial picture is going to look like in retirement. That can be interesting as well.
Absolutely. So we also had actually a suggestion, well, a question too, whether or not you'd consider having a column that answers subscribers' questions.
We have members right now. If you have a question, you can either send it to member services, and a lot of those I get copied on, or if it's something they don't feel they have the direct expertise to answer, they will send it to me. But I definitely think that's a great idea to share questions that members have had and try to spur the community.
No, I think that'd be, yeah, it's great.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, it's a great idea.
I like that.
And so another person asked about, and obviously we talk a lot about saving for retirement, but someone wanted to know, basically, for those who don't need their RMDs, or required minimum distribution, which is the amount the IRS requires people to withdraw from pre-tax retirement accounts, meaning IRAs, 401ks. The accounts are now Roth, are actually beyond the Roth IRA. Several others will actually no longer have RMDs starting next year. But one member wants to know if we'll address what to do with the cash if you don't need it for living expenses.
Yes, and one possible idea is the qualified charitable distribution, and that kind of goes back to the member that also had the question about the taxes. That would be one potential tax strategy.
Great. Going through here on here. Try to go through here. See what on here. Another. So actually, someone asked about covering the challenges related to healthcare costs and long-term healthcare options.
I would say that we might be able to provide some information on the cost aspect, but healthcare options, we would probably lean to an expert, or depending, it might just be a little bit out of our expertise. And Charles, you can provide additional context on that one as well.
Yeah, I think we'll try to bring in some experts, particularly when it comes to long-term care. We may also try to bring in some experts. Perhaps we can find someone to just talk about the idea of I think in terms of continuing care living facilities, some of it will, as Cindy said, will be beyond our expertise, but I think certainly bringing someone in to talk about long-term care health would be a good idea, and obviously that's a concern for many people. We'll try to cover when we can some of the costs regarding if we can't find national numbers regarding care on it, but obviously there's very specific issues related to that. I'm going through it personally, so certainly I can share some of my insights. I have older parents, and also my mother-in-law too are actually looking at increasing the level of care. So we'll try to get to some of it, but some of that stuff is definitely probably beyond the scope of the newsletter, but I think to where we can address it from a standpoint as tying into investing and financial planning, we certainly will try to. So we do have a member requesting for information about annuities, saying he's getting bombarded with information about annuities. And we do have someone who's written about annuities before, and I think, Cindy, we could probably bring him in for some content, couldn't we?
That seems like something we can cover, and I feel that many of us are bombarded with annuities. I live in the Indianapolis area, and just driving on a 10-minute commute from the home to the daycare where my dog is during the day, I hear about 5 annuity commercials each evening. So yes, they are very, very prevalent.
And I've somehow reached the age where I'm getting invited to those free steak dinners where annuities are actually pushed. So I don't know if the restaurant's good enough. Maybe I'll just show up.
Funny.
Yeah, but we did say had a request for strategies in terms of estate taxes and trying to and pointing out also not just a federal estate tax, but also state estate taxes. And this member brought up Massachusetts in general, but I do know the state estate for several states, the limits for state taxes are lower, and obviously they vary by state, but we might be able to do something with that. We couldn't get into specific states, but I think United States might be able to look into, see what we can do. And as I said, I know they vary by each state, and I know some states have estate taxes and some states have inherited taxes. So it's a whole other can of worms.
Yes, and county taxes, I don't know if
Yes.
county gets anything from that.
Yes. So one other question on here. One question on it was actually just, we did get a couple people asking whether we'll talk about managing the portfolio with market volatility. I do believe we have like you showed earlier, we do have an article talking about volatility right now on the website, and I believe you're also going to be addressing sequence of risk going forward as well.
Yeah, that is all about market volatility.
Absolutely. Okay, great. And I know a couple of members have asked again about the pricing for retirement. So I just want to reiterate, it is a separate subscription to your AAII membership, and it's also a separate subscription to A+ on it. And we do provide these premium services at an additional cost because there are costs to us for providing them, and it also allows us to keep the cost of basic and life membership low. And Cindy, I guess before we go, is anything else you want to pass along to members? And I will say to respondents, I know we haven't got to every question. We will look at them after the webinar, and we certainly appreciate the content suggestions many of you have given us during this webinar. We're definitely going to take note of those and try to incorporate those into retirement investing. and we're both open to additional ideas that you might have.
Thank you for joining, and thank you for all the ideas. I look forward to working with all of you, and it's a great honor to serve you and meet you on this webinar today.
Excellent. Well, first off, I do want to offer a big thanks to both Charles and Cindy for introducing our newest service that will help investors effectively strategize for different life phases of their retirement journey. I really enjoyed the presentation, and I appreciate all the great questions that everybody sent in. They were wonderful. And like Charles says, if you have more questions, feel free to send them to either Cindy or Charles, or you can just easily email retirement@aaii.com. And additionally, if you have questions about access or membership, I saw a few come in. I did reach out. I tried to reach out to you, everyone personally, but if you do have questions, please, and you've already subscribed, please also email that retirement@aaii.com email as well. We'd be happy to help you. And if you enjoyed our presentation today, please check out our archive and upcoming webinars at aaii.com/webinars. Here you can view past presentations and register for upcoming events that we have in store. And just to remind everyone, today's session is recorded, and the replay, and as well as all the resources, which includes the handout, slides, as well as additional helpful resources that we usually include, will be available tomorrow on AAII's YouTube channel and website. That's at aaii.com/webinars page as well. And for those who attended, you can also expect to receive the recording and handout in your inbox sometime tomorrow evening. Usually it could be a little earlier, but we'll just basically make sure to stay tuned and check that inbox as around the afternoon, I would say. And with that, we wish all of you viewing good health, good fortune, and a great rest of your day. Thank you, and take care.
Happy investing. Thank you.